Sandip Sabharwal joins us now. Sandip, good morning. What should we start with? Yesterday's World Cup inaugural match. Should we start with that? Should we start with Tata
Sandip has
Motors?
been watching Asian games. He told us yesterday.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Ajay, when's the India match? It's Chennai 8th, right?
Yeah, India, Australia.
You're going? Why?
He's going to Ahmedabad for India, Pakistan.
You got the tickets?
जुगाड़ चल रही है.
संदीप जा रहे हो मैच देखने अहमदाबाद?
No. Can't make so much effort.
It's one. The sitting capacity is of the stadium is actually 1 lakh plus.
Yeah.
I mean, it will be an experience.
Of course.
You're going?
I don't know.
I'm not going. I can say that. Okay. Away from cricket, Sandeep, markets. Couple of events. Tata Motor dispatch numbers. Indigo has put a fuel surcharge, something which you've not heard, them doing earlier. And then, if one really looks at Bajaj Finance fundraising plans, they're just doing the classic, which is that raising capital at a time when capital is available and when growth is clear for them.
Yeah, so I think Tata Motors continues to surprise positively, both in terms of sales as well as cash flows. And I think that thesis got established early part of this year. The stock is still cheap relative to the entire auto pack and possibilities of improving balance sheet. And it's also reasonably under-owned even now. So I think Tata Motors remains well placed. So I think it has low downside, and as markets stabilize and move up, it could move up much higher. So what else were we talking about?
Tata Motors, Indigo and Bajaj Finance.
Yeah, it's very surprising. I don't know. They can price the ticket whatever they want. So this fuel charge thing, maybe it's a way to avoid the additional GST on it, or something. I don't know what's the logic. But overall, I think Indigo is very well placed today in the context of what's happened to Go Air and what's happening to Casa, etc., and the pickup in travel. Now, the only issue with Indigo stock over the last couple of years has been that the ex-promoters come and sell periodically and in huge amounts, and that subdues the stock price, which could again recur after a couple of months. So I think that's the concern.
Sure. Let's in fact look at these charts, because Interglobe Aviation was a big mover yesterday. I think the stock held out by 2.7% or so. IRCTC as well held out quite a fair bit in trade yesterday. Kunal, on the charts, how are they both looking?
So both of them are attractive. IRCTC is a lot more attractive because the stock, which had been a huge underperformer when the entire rally for the railways had started, or the railway stocks had started off. I think from there on, now most of the other railways names, the likes of RVNL, IRFC, etc., they're going through their own phases of time-wise, price-wise correction. But IRCTC is looking very attractive, about that 700 mark. In fact, this is the third consecutive day yesterday where the stock had shown positive price action, good volume action, as well as strong indicator positioning for the stock price that generally puts the stock to a possible breakout about that 740-50 mark, which the stock had tested a couple of weeks back. Interglobe Aviation could also be an interesting name because the stock yesterday showed actually a bearish crossover, the 50-day moving average crossing below the 100-day moving average. So generally to negate that, the stock has to show a very stronger price action in the next couple of days. So if that's the case, then we could be looking at a possible turnaround for Interglobe Aviation. But I think today's and the next 2 days could be very crucial for the stock in terms of a short-term time frame.
Nilesh, you had a view, I think, on Indigo on Tuesday, right? And after that, the stock went down. Then it has gained. Do you think the stock is? Do you think the stock can gain further altitude?
Yeah. So the view is the stock. First of all, if we see the rally when we saw crude go up to 94, the stock did not correct much. It went from 2400 to 2350 only, and recovered in the last two sessions. Yesterday was a good confirmation, and now we could go towards that 2550, 2600 mark. At 2600 is where one could expect a pause for now. So it's a short-term trade with a target price of 2600. The only concern is that had there not been the promoter selling, the stock would have rallied much more, and the trend could have been much more stronger across the board. So for the current view, the view is 2600 for the short term.
Bajaj Finance, just looking at what the brokerages have been saying after the fundraising got announced, and it's a buy from Jefferies, target price of 88.30, and has been the call from most brokerages on Bajaj Finance. Kunal, a quick read through on the charts of Bajaj Finance.
So again, a very attractive chart. So, earlier what used to happen is Bajaj Finance, Finserv, they both used to move together or in tandem with respect to the price action. But this time around, the price action has been solitary, more stronger and powerful for Bajaj Finance. Finserv, I think, is still down some 250 odd points from the previous highs of 1700 odd. Bajaj Finance, on the other hand, I think is just about 1% away from its previous highs of 8,050, 54 on the spot levels. Even yesterday, the stock showed a bit of a cool off from the intraday highs, but then the way in which the stock has run up in the last 2 months itself indicates that there is stronger degree of outperformance in this name as compared to the other peer or its immediate peer. So I would believe Bajaj Finance looks very attractive. 8,050 could be just a nominal breakout which one could be looking out for, but I think it's more of a hold from current levels.
The one other stock which is going to be in focus, and Nykaa just came out with its operational update. They've talked about the net sales value for both beauty and personal care as well as the fashion segment to actually show an uptick ahead of the festive season and into that as well. While it's been delayed, so the numbers are not digested in the second quarter. That's only going to come in Q3, but they're pretty upbeat about that. In fact, what they've said is that they expect the beauty and personal care business to see a net sales growth of 20%, which is much higher than the averages that they have clocked off late. Sandeep, a relook at Nykaa at 147 levels?
Management commentary seems positive, but I think the key is on profits. So I think that this is one of the companies among the new generation companies which got listed 2-3 years back, which has not incrementally shown any improvement in profitability. If they are able to do that, then I think the stock could do well. But for that, we'll need to wait out.
Zomato hit a fresh 52-week high yesterday, 105. 55 has become 105. It was at 55, I think, in beginning of the year. And 55 has become 105. What a year it's been for Zomato. 77% higher. Actually, 50 has become 105. Vinesh?
45 has become 105, right?
Yeah, I
What was
think
the low?
the low was 40 point something.
40 point something.
Like a multi-bagger.
Yeah.
But 150 became 40.
Also, yeah.
150 to 40 and 42, and it is still not at an all-time high.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Zomato is still not at an all-time high, even though when it was at 150, that time there was no guidance that they will ever think of actually delivering profit. And now that operating leverage and the pricing discipline and the delivery charges, Zomato Gold, all those factors have kicked in, that they actually are talking about, brokerages are talking about a PAT of like a 3-digit PAT for FY25. That's incredible for a company which was reporting a 3-digit PAT loss. So from a 3-digit PAT loss, we are talking about the 3-digit PAT profit. And Sandeep, better late than never, देर आए दुरुस्त आए, हिंदी में कहते हैं सुबह का बुला शाम को घर आता है, भोला नहीं बोलते हैं. All these companies have realized the importance of an auction market, which is listed market, which is that respect cash flows and deliver. Do you think this is just a multi-year trend now, and Zomato or a Policy Bazaar or a Paytm, they will not stop here?
The Policy Bazaar and Paytm have no, let us say, business model which has entry barriers, or where it's a sustainable business model in terms of profitability. The entire improvement in profits of, let's say, a Paytm is coming out of the loan disbursements they are doing and the commissions they earn out of it. The core payments business, the competitive intensity is only increasing. Same is with Policy Bazaar. Zomato was always more uniquely placed because it's in a duopoly with Swiggy sort of. And there it was only a question of the management realizing and the two players realizing that it doesn't mean like they don't need to kill each other because they are the only two players which are there all India. So I think that's happening now, and the operating leverage then tends to be very high. So my guess is Zomato should do well long term. When to enter becomes a question, because when stocks move up in a straight line, it's tough to buy at any price. So I think I never bought it. So we'll see if we get opportunities.